everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing very well today, and happy Vlogmas. I hope you're enjoying all of my daily uploads. I'm really enjoying creating content for you guys, and I of course love reading your comments and interacting with you all, and I appreciate all of your support on these daily videos. So today's video is going to be about disappointing makeup. So I try a lot of makeup. I am a makeup obsessed person. I am makeup addicted. I absolutely love trying out new formulas. I love trying out just new products in general. I don't discriminate between brands or anything like that. Of course, some brands, but let's not get into that. But anyways, I have a few products to talk about today because, of course, whenever you try out a lot of products, it's bound to happen that you're not going to completely fall in love with everything. And so I have a few products to talk about, and so let's just go ahead and get started. So some of the products I no longer have within my collection because I have since decluttered them. Maybe some of them I've even returned back to Ulta or Sephora. And so I will try to put up a picture on the screen if I no longer have the product. So firstly, the very first product that I want to talk about that definitely disappointed me was the Maybelline Tinted Moisturizer. So I did pick this up from Ulta, and this was such a finicky product. And a lot of the products that I'm actually going to be talking about today have that in common, that they're just very finicky. I feel like they never just work perfectly for my skin, and that is an issue that I always have. And so, or not always have, but that is an issue with products for the most part whenever they don't work for me. It's because they're finicky, it's because they don't work 100% of the time. So anyways, back to this tinted moisturizer. This tinted moisturizer looked good on me some days, and then some days it didn't. And at initial application, I was usually pretty happy with it, but then during the day, I would notice that it would really just kind of basically be completely gone in some areas on my face. And of course, when you're out in public and you're wearing that, you don't want your foundation just completely coming off, you know? And I know that it's a tinted moisturizer, so to expect long wear is definitely, you know, that's a high expectation for a tinted moisturizer, but I mean, for it to completely fade away and be removed on certain areas of my face is very abnormal. And so I just didn't want to have to deal with that one anymore. Again, whenever you're going with makeup, especially if you work every day and you're going into the office or wherever you work, right? And the last thing you want to do is worry about your makeup. You know what I mean? The last thing you want to do is have to take an extra 5-10 minutes because, you know, something that you're wearing isn't working out for you and you had to go back up and patch up the mess. You know what I mean? And so I went ahead and returned that one at Ulta. That is where I picked it up. And I was really disappointed because I love a lot of products from Maybelline, especially their foundations, or at least like the Fit Me foundation. I do like that one. And so I was a little bit bummed, but that's okay. That's totally understandable. And then another product that, you know, I thought was a little bit disappointing was another product that I no longer have. I actually just sold it on my Poshmark not that long ago, and it's the Rare Beauty Cream Blush. And I had the shade Nearly Neutral. The shade was absolutely stunning. The packaging was beautiful. I mean, honestly, I wanted to love it because of the beautiful packaging, but that's not realistic. You know, a product has to work. I have so much makeup in my collection that I don't have the time and the space, to be quite honest with you, to, you know, hold makeup that isn't working for me. And so the problem that I had with that one was it was very sheer. It didn't really have complete, you know, full pigment to it. You know, the liquid blushes from Rare Beauty are beautiful. They're amazing. I can't sing their praises enough. They're very long wearing. The shades are stunning, and you know, they're very, very pigmented. I mean, complete opposites of the cream blushes from Rare Beauty. And the problem that I had with this cream blush is, again, it just wasn't very pigmented. It wasn't very long wearing. wearing. And so I felt like it faded away, sometimes even within minutes, which is really frustrating. Another thing is I just felt like it lifted my foundation a little bit because it wasn't fully absorbing into the skin. And whenever I'd put powder on, I mean, it just completely vanished. And so again, I don't have the time to, you know, have to play around with my makeup to get it to work for me. I don't have the time to keep reapplying and reapplying. You know, I want that pigment at first swipe, you know, or even if I have to go in like maybe 2 times, that's fine. But you know, the amount of time and the amount of work that I had to put into that cream blush just wasn't worth it for me. Another product from Rare Beauty, and honestly, I'm disappointed anytime something from Rare Beauty doesn't work out because I really like the brand. I enjoy the brand's vibe and aesthetic. I love the vision that they have, and I love the packaging of a lot of their products. Overall, they're just a brand that's really, really intriguing to me, and they continue to, you know, pique an interest in me. But their concealer and their foundation just doesn't work for me. I still have the foundation. The concealer I returned like at the beginning of this year, but the foundation I still have. And this one is, again, it's like finicky. You know, I feel like because it is a very, very thin serum-y type foundation, it's really hard to get this to fully absorb and sink into the skin. And that is so irritating for me. Like, it's something where I feel like it looks beautiful at initial application, but then throughout the day, I just feel like it's just sitting on top of my skin. And take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I feel like I should have prefaced this video by saying that just because these products didn't work out for me, it doesn't mean that they're not going to work out for you. It doesn't mean that they are bad products. It's just for me personally, I didn't like them. Especially this Rare Beauty foundation. I'm aware of very many people that enjoy this one. One of my friends on Instagram, she really loves this one. And so, you know, I know that this is loved by many people, but for me, for some reason, it just doesn't really work out for me. And I'm trying to figure out if I want to keep it or declutter it. I'm trying to maybe give it a few more chances, but yeah, I'm just a little bit disappointed. And again, because it's finicky, I just don't have the time. And I honestly just don't want to put in the effort to make it work for me, if you know what I mean. And then another foundation is the Essence Pretty Natural foundation. And I'll put a picture on the screen of this one because I since have decluttered this one. And this foundation, again, was just so freaking finicky. Like, some days I felt like it looked absolutely beautiful on my skin. It wore beautifully, and I was very, very pleased with the overall look of my skin when I used it. But then some days I was like, okay, what is going on? Like, it's not blending out. It's just sitting on top of my skin. It's not fully being absorbed into the skin, and it's not becoming one with my skin, like all of the things, right? Well, I just decided again to just declutter it because, again, kind of going back to everything else that I was saying, I don't have the time and I don't have the effort or the energy rather to make a product work for me, you know? And so another thing with that one is it's a little bit of a thicker kind of moussey texture of a foundation. And I am someone who tends to enjoy more liquidy foundations. And so with that one, I felt like it was a little bit harder for me to blend out with a sponge. And that meant that I probably should have gone in with a brush. And I'm just not a foundation brush kind of girl. You know, sometimes I like using brushes, but for the most part, I prefer sponges. And so that was just another issue I had with that one. So again, so many people love that one. So take my, my thoughts and opinions with a grain of salt. Maybe that's one of your holy grails. I don't know. But for me, it just did not work out for me. And then I have some primers from e.l.f. Again, I don't know what's wrong with me, but these are very hyped and very well loved within the beauty community, both on Instagram and on YouTube. And these are the e.l.f. primers. So the e.l.f. Jelly Pop primer, to be specific, that is the one that I want to focus on today. And that one I actually purchased in a set, and it had a mini of the Jelly Pop primer and a full size of the Jelly Pop highlighter. It's like a cream highlighter. The highlighter was okay, but the Jelly Pop primer was so tacky. I mean, it was so tacky. I could press my hand against my skin and I would literally feel like resistance. That is how tacky this primer was. And I don't know if maybe I should have let this primer sit on my skin a little bit more before, you know, going in with foundation to maybe make it, you know, have it fully absorb before going in with foundation or what, but I always had issues with how my foundation applied over this primer, always. I don't mind a gripping primer. I actually really enjoy the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, and I also really love the Hard Candy like makeup grip primer. That one is amazing, and that's actually one that I recommend over any of these because that one I believe is even more affordable than the e.l.f. ones, and it does a better job in my opinion. It's hydrating, and it also, it leaves your skin feeling a little bit, you know, tacky, but it's not to the point like of this e.l.f. Jelly Pop one. And then I have this one. This is the e.l.f. Mint Melt Cooling Face Primer. This one is not as tacky as the Jelly Pop primer. This one is probably more of a consistency to the Milk Makeup one. But again, I don't know. Whenever I use this one, I'm always like wondering and questioning my foundation. And I just, again, I don't have the energy to have to play around with my makeup, you know, and that's another thing too. Makeup is a fun thing for me. It's something that I love and I enjoy, and the overall process of applying makeup is so therapeutic for me. It's kind of like my fun time. It's my me time. And so when your makeup doesn't turn out well, it really does put a damper on your day, especially when you are a makeup lover. And that's what this primer kind of does. It kind of, you know, doesn't let foundation sit right on my skin. And so I'm kind of deciding between, you know, if I want to keep this one or not, but I'm just not impressed with these gripping primers from e.l.f. I think they are too gripping, and I don't think that they let foundation sit well on top. And then the final product, and this product is a definite disappointment. And honestly, I am so glad that I picked this up from the cosmetic company outlet store, because if I hadn't, I would have been pissed. And this is one of the Tom Ford eyeshadow quads, and this one is specifically in the shade Supernova. And like I said, I purchased this at, let me take out the brushes. I purchased this at a cosmetic company outlet store. Beautiful, cool toned color story. Really, you know, I was intrigued by this color story, and I was so impressed with Nude Dip from Tom Ford that I was like, yeah, I want to purchase another quad. And so I purchased this one, and oh my gosh, is this formula awful. This is just not a good eyeshadow palette. It's doable, it's workable, you can create a look with it, but it is just so underwhelming. I mean, it is one of the most underwhelming eyeshadow palettes I've ever used. And I think because it is linked to that high price tag, that it left me even more disappointed. Do you know what I mean? And so I got this for 60% off. So I probably paid around like $35 for this, which is still even pricey, you know, for it to not perform very well. So this is something that I'm either going to sell on my Poshmark, or I'm going to gift it or give it to my aunt, because she really enjoys makeup and she's not as much of an eyeshadow enthusiast, if you will, as me. So maybe she won't even notice, you know, that this, you know, maybe doesn't perform as well. So we shall see what I end up doing with it. But oh my gosh, was this very underwhelming. And I am so glad that I didn't pay full price for that one. So those are just a few products that were, you know, more disappointing. They were more fails for me. Again, let me know if these are products that you love and that are your holy grails, because like I said, makeup is so different for everybody. And that's kind of like the joy and the fun and the beauty of makeup, if I'm being honest. But yes, if you did enjoy, please give this video a thumbs up, and I would love for you to subscribe and be a part of my YouTube channel family here. I really can't thank you enough for all of your support. Liking, viewing, commenting, subscribing to my channel really does help me out and my channel. One of my goals is to grow my channel. So I just, you know, your support does not go unnoticed. So thank you so much. So I will go ahead and see you in my next video. Bye.